We're on Lamed Gimel, Succah Sukkah DAf. Rabayim Mishkachas Ba'asa Mitzra, an Egyptian hadas. The Kaima Shiva B'chad Kina. There are 7 leaves for every row. The Chinatri Arba Pashul. There, even if 4 leaves of each row fall off, you're still left with 3, which is the minimum that you need to have it kosher. Rabayim Shmamina. The Egyptian hadas is kosher for the hadas. Shita, why not? Because it's not just a hadas, it's called hadas mitzri. Maybe lo miskasher, maybe it wouldn't fulfill what the Torah wants. Kamash Malon, that no. The Emachanami, maybe it should be rejected because it's got a specific name. More answers. As long as it's hadas, we don't care what kind of hadas it is. Ton Rabbanon, Nashu Ravolov Nisharbo Shlosha Bade Ale Lachim. If the majority of the leaves came off, but on the top there are moist sets of leaves, kosher. From Rav, Chizdav Rosh Kol Echad V'Echad. It's got to be on the top. Then the Mishnah said Niktam Rosho. If the top were cut off, it's not kosher. Tani Ula. Niktam Rosha also Botimra kosher. If a fruit grew where the top was, it's kosher. Boy Rav Yimit, Niktam Rosha Merav Yontiv. Let's say when Sukkah started, it had been chopped off. Well, also tomorrow be Yontiv. And on Yontiv itself, a fruit grew. Mao. Do we say mitzvah solo? Do we say once a mitzvah is pushed aside, it's pushed aside forever? Maybe we'll answer it from the Mishnah. He saw in his gala, he did shchita. You covered the blood. But the melachos, you don't have to do it anymore. He saw a ruach. It wasn't done by a human being, but wind covered it. You still have to do kisui adam. You have to do it only if the blood had been revealed again. As long as the blood is covered, he doesn't have to do it. Why should you be chayiv to do it if it got uncovered? Once the mitzvah has been fulfilled, it's been fulfilled. Must be on Rav Papa's mitzvahs. Mitzvahs are not pushed aside forever. If they come around later on, and you can be yotzid, you can be yotzid. Rav Papa Gufam Aboyle. Rav Papa, in fact, asked the question: Mifshid Pashat Leid Ein Dichitzel Mitzvahs. Maybe we say that mitzvahs aren't pushed aside. Lo sh'nal l'kulav, lo sh'nal l'chumra. Maybe it's completely no dichui. Oy dilma, it's a safek. Svukim asafkila whether dichui works. So therefore, l'chumra, we tell you l'chumra, do the mitzvah. But l'kula, lo amrina. So take. So it's left as a suffix which we don't answer. This question of whether dichui b'mitzvah is lema kitanoi. Over v'logdon, he was over the what you're not supposed to do, and you did cut it off on Yom Tov. Pasul. Did Rabbi Eliezer. Ben Sadik. Chachamim machshirin. Chachamim permitted. Why? So we're talking about where there were fruits, and you took them off because you're not allowed to have berries on it. Now you're not supposed to do it on Yom Tov, but if you did it, it's kosher. Why? Kulam alulavein tzarachegin. Neither of these mandamar hold that you have to tie the various meaning together. And imtim salamet tzarachegin, even if you told me it needed egin, lo yalfin and lulav misukah. We don't learn lulav misukah regarding tas semen of l'asli. The chsiba tas of laman asli. It's got to be ready to go with kavana for the mitzvah. And therefore, what's the machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim? My laba kamiflagi. Man de pasal Rabbi Eliezer savar amin yesh dichui etzel mitzvahs. Once there are berries, when Yom Tov started, then it's not a good hadas, and you can't use it. Once there's dichui, it's pushed aside forever. Man de machshur savar amin yesh dichui etzel mitzvahs. So perhaps the issue of dichui is machlekes tanon. Of course, is low. Really, we say there's no dichui. Do you learn from lulav from sukkah regarding tasam and asli? And you don't need tasam and asli. And even if it was prepared on Yom Tov, because you cut off the fruits on Yom Tov, and when Yom Tov started, it wasn't prepared, it's not a problem. If we hold regarding lulav requiring binding, and therefore, they all learn that you learn lulav from sukkah. Rather, the machlokes between Rabbi Eliezer and the Chachamim is, do you need to tie the lulav up? We'll look to that in Tanoi, the Tanya, lulav. Bein agud, bein shein agud kosher. Tanakama says the lulav does not require eged. Rabbi Yehuda oimer eged kosher, shein agud pasul. Now my time in Rabbi Yehuda, yolef lekicha maguda says so. We learn a hekesh from the word lokach that's written by lulav and by the collection for the paraduma. Ksiva cholakachtam lachem b'yom harishon. Lakachtam agudas ezov. Malahalan agudav kan aguda, just like over there was bounded. Here it's bounded. The Rabbanon hold less lu lakicha. They don't learn the hekesh between agudas ezov and lulav. Man Tana Lada Tana Rabban, who is the following Tana Lulav Mitzvah La'ogdo? You have to do a mitzvah to tie it together. However, in La'ogdo, kosher. Mani, who is it? Rabbi Yehuda, he holds you need eged. Kilo Ogdo, my kosher. Rabbanon, my mitzvah covered. The Rabbanon don't require it, so what kind of mitzvah? It is the Rabbanon, the Rabbanon, umitzvah mishum zeh keli vanveyu. It's not mikra adin, it's hidur for the mitzvah. Oshay anavim merubin. If there were many berries, you have to remove them. Amar Chisda, davar zeh Rabbeinu gadol amru, b'makom yeh be'ezra, lo yishar makom echad. That's if you have berries in one place. Kosher. If it's all over the hadas, it's okay. Rava, he doesn't understand. What do you mean shnayim u'shloshim makomos havim in number? It's considered like a leopard. Upasul. If the berries were more than the leaves, pasul. And on Rav Chisda, that's blackberries. If they were green, mini hadasu, it's part of the hadas for kosher. Red ones are like black, which are apostle. Black blood is red blood, except it's oxygenated. So Chacham said black blood is also metame. Now, if you started off with more berries and you cut them down and reduce them, imiyatan kosher. Now, miyatanemis, when did you remove the berries? Before you did igud. So what's wrong with that pshita? We're talking about a case you had done igud, you connected them all, and then you removed the berries. And dichui meikaru, therefore, was originally nidcha. And therefore, tishat minei dichui meikar lo avidichu. The fact that even after the fact, after Yom Tov came in, you can remove it and it's kosher, we see the fact that it was nidcha from the beginning isn't the permanent dichui. So the Gemara says, loilam basar da'agdei. When you were ma'aged it had berries. And then after you were ma'aged it, you removed the berries. Sover eged azman balmahu. Eged just sort of gets it ready to do the mitzvah, but it's not the mitzvah itself. Azman balma lav klum. And therefore, since you're removing the berries before you shake the lulav, you're not having any problem. Then ve'imamatin b'yontif. You may not remove the berries on yontif, implying how over v'logtan my kosher. You get it. You went against. You did an aveira, and you removed the berries. What's the status of the hadas? Kosher. Now the ashcher emes. When did these berries become black? Ilemas the ashcher me'esmol. It became black yesterday. And then, even though it started yontif and was nidcha, by removing the berries, you can resuscitate it, implying dichlu meikar u'v'tifshu b'nei dichlu meikar lo avidichlu is not a problem. Elalav, but we don't learn like that. So how do we teach? Really, it became black dashka b'yontif, and therefore, when a yontif came in, it was a perfectly good hadas, because we said a green one is hadas, so it's near v'nidchahu. It was originally good, and then nidcha. Shmamino near v'nidcha chayzer v'nira. Are we going to use this as a proof that once it was good to start with, even though later on something bad happens to it, you can return it? More says low. Oilam da'ashka mikar was black from before yontif. Yet dichlu mikar delavi dichlu. The fact that it was nidcha from the beginning is not a dichlu. There should be none. And you can learn that. Aval nira v'nidcha choyzer v'nira loy tifshu. But nira, if it was good, and then nidcha, and then choyzer, that you can't deduce from this Gemara. You cannot remove the berries on yontif. You can. How can you do it? You're fixing a kli. You had no kavana to fix the hadas. You want to eat the berries, and therefore it's a davar shem iskavin. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon, Sarvel Kavua, davar shem iskavin mutter. It's a psik reisha that happens automatically. Because he has another hadas that he can use. So it's not a absolute that he was Masakin Kli, he didn't need it. Torah Bonam, Hutter Ogdo Biyontiv. You tied the lulav together, they came apart. Oido Kagudel Shul Yerek. You shall tie it, but only with not a kesher shel kayom. Why don't you tie with a bow? Rabbi Yehuda, who held that even tying with a bow is like regular kshir, which is not allowed. Rabbi Yehuda is a boy. You can tell me it's Rabbi Yehuda, he requires a real egghead. So high tan, the tan of what we just quoted, several kavosik bechada. He agrees with Rabbi Yehuda on one thing, and he doesn't agree with Rabbi Yehuda on the other din. Mishnah. A rav exula vivesha psula. A rav is stolen or dry as possible. Shalashev shalir dachas psula. If it belongs to a tree that you worshipped as nashera or yani dachas psula. Niktim roisha, if the head was cut, nifritzu aleh, or the leaves were completely separated, vatziftzafah became dry, psula. Tziftzafah looks like an arava, but it's not really an arava. Kmusha, which we said is dry, shenashu mixus, some of the leaves are off, or an arava grown in an irrigated field, shabal ksheva. Torah bar arvei nachalik dilan ala nachal. These are willows that grow on a riverbank. The leaves are long and drawn out like a river. If you find arava in an irrigated field or in the mountains, how do you know it's kosher? Wherever you find it. Okay. We will learn at 8 o'clock.
All right. Go ahead.